Okay, thanks for joining me on day 2 of the 21 days mindset challenge. And today we're focusing on self-limiting beliefs and self-sabotage. Yesterday it was a focus on gratitude. And if you have missed it, do go back to the previous video, which you will find on my YouTube channel. And if we're connecting for the very first time, my name is Chiko Matenda, and I am a creative entrepreneur. And the reason I started this 21-day challenge, it's something as well that I planned to motivate myself to show up every day, and as well as to share with you tips that I've learned over time, which have helped me mindset wise to move beyond things which I'm going to talk about, like self-limiting beliefs and self-sabotage. Not to say that they don't happen, they still continue to happen on an entrepreneurship journey, but it's about developing the awareness and challenging yourself to ask yourself the tough questions. So I'll start off with the definition, and you want to stay towards the end, because I'm going to be asking you at least 5 questions about self-limiting belief questions and also self-sabotage, and it's intended to help you to progress forward. So hold on a second, because I just realized that my mic for Instagram, it wasn't fixed or attached to my top. So here we go. And I hope on Instagram you can hear me. Thanks for joining, and as well as on YouTube as well. Okay, so let's start off with a definition of what self-sabotage means to you. And if anything that I'm saying resonates with you, then do let me know by leaving a comment below as well. So self-limiting beliefs are assumptions or perceptions that you have developed about yourself and the way the world works. So it's based on how you perceive how the world works. And these assumptions are self limiting beliefs in some way because they hold you back from achieving what you are capable of. So it may prevent you from actualizing your greatest potential. And self sabotage is similar to self limiting beliefs. Self sabotage is more on is based on the actions, things that you do. You might be aware of them, or some of them is just habitual that you haven't actually connected with what you're doing. So self sabotage connects to things that you do just in terms of what I've mentioned, preventing yourself from taking an action. So, an example would be procrastination. So, you might do another task, such as earlier on, I'll give you an example. I was doing my dishes, then I had to stop myself and think, is this an activity that I should be doing now? Or could I benefit from actually preparing my blog post and then doing the dishes later? So self sabotage sometimes can show up in the actions that we undertake. You probably will be taking actions that are directing you towards an opposite direction. And sometimes this stems out of fear, this stems out of self doubt, low confidence, and also external circumstances, just in terms of what you may believe people would think about you. So self sabotage itself, no, self limiting beliefs could also be something, and it's most likely that most people, and I myself as well, grew up with certain self limiting beliefs, and self limiting beliefs stem from childhood background. So this can be starting from like a family environment, social influences, community, as well as any other environment that has molded or shaped your thinking mindset wise. And you have grown up acting in this way until adulthood, not realizing that some of the actions that you were doing were self limiting beliefs. Then those beliefs then continue on into adulthood. So, adulthood, they may show up in situations like this: social media. You have a desire to do something, but for some reason, you stop yourself from showing up, like recording a video, for instance, or being on stage, because you have these innate fears which you have developed from childhood, And some of the words you potentially might say is, I'm not good enough, I am shy, I am an introvert. So what I'm here to do is to challenge you today to ask you about, what are 5 words that you often say to yourself that prevent you from moving forward? Okay, so it's about being honest with yourself. What are negative words that influence you from or prevent you from achieving your goals, to the point that you start buying into what I call the beautiful lies? Why the beautiful lies is that they will empower you, surprisingly enough, to start feeling comfortable in being comfortable and not moving beyond this box. Because what happens is that when you're in this box, you're wrapped up in something that is of comfort. Anything else beyond that is this fear factor that if you move outside of this box, the likelihood is that there's going to be danger or something is going to happen. Okay, so what are the type of words that come to mind when you are doing this type of actions, when you're preventing yourself from moving forward, but you know innately that you want to feel propelled or empowered to move beyond so that you can actualize your goals? Okay, so these are beneficial steps in terms of achieving what you want as an entrepreneur. And when you first start off, it is nerve wracking. Okay. It is nerve wracking. The best thing that you could ever do is about what I've mentioned, is starting from a place of honesty, a place from of self-awareness, and then also challenging the things that you constantly think about, and then consider, reevaluate them, look at things that I'm going to go into the questions. Actually, this is flowing in nicely. So some of the type of questions that I noted down is moving beyond the 5 questions that I mentioned about the negative words you say to yourself, which you potentially are doing inadvertently without being fully self-conscious, or you're aware of them. Because I believe that sometimes intentionally, or most of the times when you are actually veering towards your future direction of where your life purpose is, you will do certain things that will self-sabotage intentionally due to fear. Okay, so moving on into the questions. Where do you believe your self-limiting beliefs come from? Is it something that all of a sudden you just came up with these ideas that you are fearful? So it's always worth looking back to early childhood in terms of when this first started, when you started to limit yourself from actualizing your greatest potential. And possibly it might not even have been in the past or in your childhood, but look at like in adulthood. What are the types of things or environments, communities, social media, professional friendships that have encouraged you or shaped you in the way you are, to the point that you also limit yourself as well? There's something that I wrote beforehand about there's 5 people closest to you basically shape and mold who you become. So it's about evaluating as well who you surround yourself with, and are they actually helping you? When you look at it overall, is it a mutually beneficial relationship that has positive encouragement, that is solution focused, outcome focused, and also challenging you as a person to become the best version of who you visualize becoming? Okay, then number 2, because I'm like on number 3, because the first one that I asked, well, what are the 5 words? Then number 3 is, are the words true or inaccurate, or something you have grown to believe over time? So when something is said over and over, like you're shy, and other things that people have said to you, you consume that and you start to believe it. But is it actually true? Have you carried on this self-image, which may not actually be a true reflection of who you visualize becoming? Then moving on into number 4. what is the worst thing that could happen if you overcame your self-limiting beliefs? Okay, so I'll rephrase that. Instead of if, I'll put on what is the worst thing that could happen when you overcome your self-limiting beliefs. Okay, so what do you visualize that? Or if I step, this is the danger that's going to happen. Then the number 5 is what is the best thing that could ever happen as a result of you being able to overcome your self-limiting beliefs, your fears, such as low confidence, fear of failure, fear of success, and overwhelm. And that is the thing as well. I used to fear, uh, what is it, success due to the overwhelm. I used to feel like, or if I do certain things, I could visualize myself whatever I was going to create was going to become bigger and bigger, then I'd start to feel overwhelmed and think maybe I wouldn't be able to manage it. Then I'd prevent myself. I would use self-sabotage measures to stop myself from progressing forward. The same thing could happen with failure. Fear of failure, I'll just give you an example as well. I used to fear such type of engagement video cameras because I used to think my focus used to be external. It was more about what will people think? What if I mix up my words? What if I make a mistake? That is the worst thing that could ever happen. The reality was not actually accurate. It is more about the narrative I built in my mind to turn it into something that was a reality. So these were assumptions. I was calculating how people I didn't know, complete strangers, would feel about me. The thing about it is that we're human beings. It is okay to make mistakes. It is okay to learn. It's not failures, it's lessons learned. It's more about allowing yourself the opportunity to be human, being self compassionate and self love as well, to realize that this is the whole process. Okay, so you're here for a purpose, you're here for a reason, and part of that purpose and reason is about also challenging yourself to follow what you visualize, what your intuition tells you, to test yourself, and then to see actually as you're getting closer and closer to your vision, what the experience is like. Is it the what you're imagining is going to be so severe, or is it actually going to bring you joy? Is it going to make you happy? Okay, so one other thing that I've realized is that the amount of time I invested in what people would think, even being like on stage, people didn't even think a second. They didn't even think a second about me and what I was going to do and the mistakes I was going to make, because part of showing up as an entrepreneur is that you also want people rather than you. So people want to connect with somebody who is authentic in terms of who they are as a person. Okay, people want to learn what are your lessons learned? What challenges have you overcome in order to get to where you are? Okay, so that's why it makes it okay to actually be who you're intended to be in life. So I hope all of what I'm saying is resonating and you're finding it helpful. Okay, so I'm going to keep this one short today and I'll just look at day 3 is going to move on nicely into positive affirmations. Okay, so this is about what we've discussed today was the 5 words that were like the negative words or actions you take to prevent yourself from moving forward. And then tomorrow is going to be about positive words that can help you to then start to look at your world in a different way, for you to take more control in how you move forward. So this can be in any given environment. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be an entrepreneur, because not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur. It can also be in the career path that you choose. It's about planning a future so that each day you're making it count in small, measurable goals. And the most helpful thing that I found beneficial about on being on an entrepreneurship journey is about mindset, self-development, because without that, the journey, you put blocks ahead of you. Because if you don't value your sense of self-worth, what you believe in, who you are, the likelihood is that you're going to put blocks in front of you and feel as though you're failing in your journey, but it is not accurate. It is not a true reflection. Okay, so I'm going to end it off here with tomorrow 5 positive affirmations. And then if you feel that this is something that you want to be involved in and you want accountability partners, I created this challenge last week when I woke up and I was just like, yep, I want to do a 21-day mindset challenge, and it's evolving. Okay, I'm testing it out on TikTok. If you want to be part of a group, an accountability group, let me know, because I believe that as well, being part of like people who are like-minded, looking to achieve similar tasks also helps. This is what helped me in terms of attending events and being in 21-day challenges, numerous challenges that I've taken in the past. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward to you joining me tomorrow around the same time. Bye for me for now on Instagram and on YouTube. Until tomorrow. Bye.